Dallas.
Oh, yeah, small town mentality. Thanks, guys. Look at, I come here and this is what happens. I just get made fun of by what?
There's like at least one horse in that town.
You're lucky there's that one horse.
It's like
too.
half a freaking horse.
It's lucky he's even there. So, guys, welcome. I hope that you're enjoying our random chatter for about a minute or so. But we're here. We have Kristen here as well, Frank as well with us, guys. And welcome to Get Your Geek On. Talking Geek, Season 2, Episode 3 of the new season. And
you sound so excited. I'm going to call you out right now. What the is going on?
Because for the last 20 minutes,
come on,
big photo.
Get your energy up. Let's go.
That's all. Hi, guys.
No.
Oh.
I didn't say, raise the pitch of your voice and get your energy up. Welcome to Get Your Geek On. Let's go. Let's get going. We're excited.
You good?
Yeah.
You good? This is why he is the astonishing Robert here with me today.
Something like that.
We have the astonishing Robert. Hey, I had to watch Ant-Man, so he is the astonishing Robert.
We did watch Tales to Astonish. We watched Ant-Man this week.
We did. And then on our other camera here, we do have Kristen on cam now. And she's finally in office. Took how long to get her here?
A few months.
That's right.
So we have
a few months.
Yeah, right. So we don't. A lot came out, but we do have a lot to talk about today. So today we do have PAX South just wrapped up this past weekend. Crisis on Infinite Earths, the big CW crossover ended last week as well. Actually, during our last episode, last week's episode. Some Star Wars news and maybe a couple little trinkets come out for you guys. So we always ask what makes you geek. So hopefully this makes you geek, guys. And I hope you enjoyed today. And I guess with that, let's kind of start off with some PAX South news.
Yeah, PAX South 2020.
So yeah, you actually, I believe this one. I try to hold a straight face.
I'm
too.
trying to.
I'm
just trying to get the energy level up. All right.
Do we do jumping jacks or something real quick?
I don't
get
know.
my heart rate up.
I don't know. I feel like you're beaten down. Did PAX beat you down this weekend or something?
I mean,
it was exhausting.
It was tiresome.
It was very tiresome.
There was a lot going on. I got it.
So I guess on that note, let's talk about it. So I've been to PAX about 3 times.
Yeah.
Kristen twice, I believe, or once. I can't remember.
No, I've been 3 or 4 times.
Have you?
Not with you.
Well, I know
only twice with you.
No, once with me.
Once with you.
Yeah.
Once
I don't know.
Without you.
So that's 2. This would be 3rd.
I don't know. Why are we doing
I
math?
don't know.
Why are we doing math?
I know. It's in his contract. He's not supposed to do
I
math.
was
It
told
is
there would
in
be
my
no
contract
math.
that I will do no math except 2 plus 2.
Oh no! When you weren't looking, I wrote it in.
I don't even want to do
You
that.
have to do math.
No math.
Yeah.
He does no math.
No.
So-
100%.
So yeah.
And this I believe was my first PAX. I've been to a few cons in the last year or so that they've all been my first. So yes, this was my first PAX.
He's popped his cherry at all these different events.
What Penny Arcade?
Penny Arcade Expo.
Expo.
So technically, it's an expo, not a convention. So there's a slight difference in that. Very slight to me.
Do you know what the difference is?
What's the difference? You want to go ahead first?
No.
I think that was a genuine question.
I didn't know.
Was a genuine question.
I didn't know. I thought she was actually going to start marking.
I mean, I guess in my mind, an expo
So-
means that there's somebody there showing stuff off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's all about buying things as an
Well,
expo.
At an expo, it's all about what's coming out. It's
Yeah.
not essentially anything that's technically ready sometimes.
Like a
too.
convention
Yeah.
generally to me is like a celebration of
Exactly.
things, and that could be in upcoming things as well.
Exactly.
But a lot of times there's more artists at conventions.
Mhm.
There's more I guess more merchandise. I guess like this to me was like game developers. There was a lot of people there talking about their upcoming games or their games that are out now. But at least in terms of the other conventions I've been to,
yeah.
I mean, there's no artist alley. There's
Right.
no place where it's like, hey, we just are selling a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah.
There was some merchandise stuff. There was a PAX store.
Yeah.
And there were vendors selling things, but
even
not
those,
a lot.
Yeah. Even those are few and far between, and
Yeah.
a lot of them are selling kind of the same things you don't want to see at a normal Comic-Con essentially. So Comic-Con, you usually get more stuff related to whatever that convention is about. Star Wars, Marvel, comics, Star Trek, whatever the convention is. The artwork and the merchandise tend to go that route, essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here, you have more stuff geared towards tabletop. So like you said, you had vendors, but they were selling D&D dice. I saw a lot of those. I saw a lot of board games that are not even out yet, that they're still on Kickstarters. You had Magic the Gathering, I think was probably your more structured game that's already been out for like 20 years now.
And there's D&D stuff.
D&D.
Yeah. I
So-
bought D&D earrings.
Did you buy the D&D earrings?
I did. Yeah.
Was it like the one
Earrings that
from
look like the
They're
guy.
dangle earrings like the mariachi.
the girl from
Yeah.
Mariachi Entertainment
Yeah.
System? Okay.
MES.
By the way, shout out to you guys. It was nice
Yeah.
talking to y'all, by the
Oh
way.
man, it was awesome.
Very lovely.
Yeah, they are. So guys, you have a lot of stuff, and the reason I say it's an expo because Robert said that those conventions are more of like a celebration, or they're more like, hey, this is what we're about. Where the expo is like, hey, we're still indie, we're still developing half the time, and most of these guys, their games aren't even out yet, or they're in betas or even alphas, depending on what where they're at. And what that means is when you're in alpha testing, it means your game's like nowhere near finalized. You're still working out all your bugs, your kinks, your graphics, everything. Beta essentially is usually the game's almost there, but there's still a lot of rendering that needs to be done. Maybe some bugs here and there that need to be fixed, and they want players to come in, play the game, and essentially try to break it to see what's wrong with it, so they can fix it before they release to the masses. So that's why I like this thing, because it shows you off stuff that you won't see anywhere else, really.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, probably a lot of these games will never really see the light of day. Like they might get released, but in terms of like becoming, a phenomenon or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
It's quite possible that a place like PAX is really the only opportunity that these developers will have to show off their products. So it's really important to them.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely is my first time going, and I mean, I think it's well documented that I'm not the gamer, right? It was really interesting, and there were some really cool concepts, really cool types of games that were there. There was actually one booth I kind of felt bad for him as I was watching, because like no one was coming up to the booth. But it was like this game that was all about saving people instead of killing them. And,
I saw that.
Yeah,
I would kill them.
It didn't look like the gameplay itself. I was like, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, and there was like nobody at the booth. I felt bad. But it was like, at least that was like, ooh, that's an interesting concept. I wonder, how did they come up with that? It was like almost like you're an EMT in an open world, and you're just trying to run around and save.
Just want to save all of you.
We just want to kill you. I don't want to save you.
I mean, that's my mentality. I mean, I play a lot of first-person and third-person shooters. But you're right. I remember seeing them, and there was another group that I guess they were having issues, and all they had up was a small TV. And that was it. It's like, I don't know what happened to you guys, because I saw y'all struggling for like the first day.
Was it that one guy across from that one booth?
That
one
guy
booth? Down that one aisle?
One booth.
That one aisle in the arena.
Right.
That was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's
perfect.
Perfect one.
That one place.
From they were across from Bullfish Studios.
Yes, they were.
Okay.
That's where they were across from.
Yeah.
So.
And he was just sitting there like this, like.
Yeah, I felt so bad for them. They eventually got a TV up to show off their game, but that's all they had. I was like, oh, that bites. Another vendor I talked to, actually Filthy Casual, they had lost like half their shipment over there.
Oh no.
Because I was looking at some of their clothing, and he's like, some of our stuff got held up in China for whatever reason. I don't remember the reason. So it was like, that kind of hurts, because it's like, but luckily he ran out of a lot of stuff, so he sold a lot, but could have made more money.
Well, and like I said, I mean, this is a huge expo.
Yes.
And it's hugely important to these vendors, especially the ones that are even more indie.
Yeah.
And so it sucks if things don't go the way that you want, but let's talk, I guess, about some of the vendors that we had a chance to interact with. We got a chance to interview a bunch of vendors.
Yeah.
Mostly, and when I say we, I mean mostly you.
Mostly me, and
a little bit of
once
me.
Kristen, or twice Kristen.
Yeah.
Twice.
Maybe three.
Yeah. No, two or three.
Game hers.
I don't know.
And
We did
someone else.
MES.
Oh, MES, that's right. That's the second one.
And you did the other band too. Kristen did the other band.
Oh,
I did
Freeze Pop. That's
So
right.
I interacted in 3 interviews.
So there you go. So I mean, let's start with that. So
Math again.
Oh my god.
It's in his contract not to do it. I
What
can't let him
about
get
mine?
I
You're
put
not
it in
here
there.
often enough to have a contract.
Oh.
I do all the back work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're the one that wrote the contract.
That is accurate.
So on that note, though, but we got Freeze Pop came out.
Mhm.
We had Bit Force, and MES Entertainment's Mariachi Entertainment System.
Yeah.
All 3 of those groups, and we got lucky enough to interview all 3 of them. So I was so happy
cool.
to do that. MES, I think, was, to be honest, of all 3 of them, was the most fun, just because we had tacos. Like we gotta sit there and
we
eat
met for breakfast tacos, It was like, let's just hang out and enjoy each other's company. And we did that for like probably 20, 30 minutes before we even did the interview. So we already kind of had that, relationship, that rapport built up. And then, and then we talked for like 10 minutes and just, we asked him some questions about like what his favorite tacos are. Or,
that
like,
was funny.
I pitted Austin versus San Antonio. And
I love doing that.
We got a good answer.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that during when our interview gets posted.
Yeah, most of our interviews will be posted this week, guys, and maybe like 1 or 2 next week because we do have a lot. I want to try to do it maybe like once or twice a day for these interviews. So hopefully we can have them knocked out before the week's over. The other thing I would say is with him too, I always like to ask about Austin. I've asked everyone who has a taco in Austin and a taco in San Antonio who's their favorite. So I don't think I've ever asked you though. Have you had both?
I have not because I'm not a breakfast taco guy at all. Like I usually, even when we went to that, we went on Saturday morning to have breakfast, and they're known for their breakfast tacos. I did not have breakfast tacos. I had pancakes.
No.
I don't think I've ever had a taco inside of Austin.
Really?
Really?
Oh wow. See,
unless you brought me tacos one day somehow, I don't think I've ever had a breakfast taco inside of Austin.
Honestly, I know. Really, I just can't. No. We had some when we went to RTX. I thought.
Did we?
I ordered tacos.
Well, then they weren't awesome enough that
Apparently,
I realized the difference.
Yes, I did because I was like mad at them because it took them like an hour to bring us our breakfast tacos.
Go San Antonio.
So I remember that. Yeah, I did because I texted Anna about it later.
I was there, but I don't
I think
recall
you went downstairs and had like a bagel or you.
I probably didn't have the
You
breakfast
probably had
tacos.
like a donut or something.
I'm not a breakfast taco guy. It's too much for me in the morning. It's too heavy.
Yeah,
I want something
I'll
lighter.
give you that.
I want something, give me pancakes that I'm gonna fall asleep like 30 minutes later. That's what I want. I'm a white boy, okay? Give me pancakes. Give me donuts.
Right? It's like I need sustenance in this, then I go to sleep.
Exactly.
But yeah, so what about you, Chris? So you've never had Austin, so I can kind of compare. So I'm the only one that can compare, and I like San Antonio better than
so
Austin.
then you answer the question.
I like
Austin
San Antonio.
Yeah.
I've had 2 experiences at 2 different restaurants in Austin, both of which I didn't like. And it's documented in a video that me and another friend went to Austin for, and that's on our YouTube page on Geeks of the Web though, where I do my dad vlog kind of thing. And that one, I recorded the tacos, and it was just bleh. It was so plain and so like, eh. And then I remember the one in RTX. I remember ordering them. I just don't remember what they taste like. It's so non-memorable. But this place was good. Pete's Taco House, right?
Yeah, Pete's
They
Taco
were good.
House.
They were really good.
Well, and let's be honest, like, and my sister turned me onto this several years ago. Everybody talks about desert island food. What would you choose? And she was like, well, tacos, because you can change the fillings every time. And I'm like, that feels like cheating, but I agree. Because you can have tacos for breakfast, you can have tacos for lunch, you can have tacos for dinner, you can change out the meat, you can change out the sauces, you can do all those things. It's like, you say spaghetti and meatballs, you're locked in spaghetti and meatballs for every meal. But tacos are so
Isn't
versatile.
there like a pizza taco somewhere?
I'm sure there is.
Somewhere out there.
Sure, tacos are so versatile. You can have, brisket tacos, you can have bacon and egg tacos.
Which I did have a brisket taco. At Pete's Tacos.
Fish tacos and chicken tacos and steak tacos.
Anything can be a taco.
So many options.
Anything can be a taco.
It's amazing.
So
tacos,
they were fun.
This is now Taco Talk.
Taco Talk. Where's Jaybird videos? Because that's on his thing.
Yeah.
So the other things we've talked to. So a few of the interviews we did. The next big one I want to talk about because I think this is a good concept. It's something I think Kristen might agree with me on. The Gamers with Heather.
Yes.
Their owner. What do you did the interview, so what do you have to say about them, you think? I mean, what do you remember what the concept was and all them about the company? By that look. So the company is all about being
Community.
Community, but of female gamers. That as the name pronounces, it's the game hers. So that it's all about female community and having female gamers and content creators, influencers, all meet up and work together. But of course they do have a lot of male support from the other side of the track, I guess you could say. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how you would put that. Like, I don't know. But, the fact is, they're really good. They're really funny.
It was a cool concept. And carving out specific spaces for people, I mean, that's really, that fits in with what being a geek is all about, is being able to celebrate who you are, being able to celebrate your differences, being able to celebrate, what makes you geek.
Exactly.
And for the gamers, it's making sure that they have a community and an environment that they can intermingle with and support each other, and
one that's safe and secure too.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool concept.
It really was. I think she was fun. Heather is the owner, and she's amazing.
Yeah.
So I would recommend following the Game Hers on their social media platform. Now the community doesn't start until March 2020.
Yeah.
So they still have a little time, but you can sign up for their newsletter and everything on their website. The other people we talked to Bullcut Studios and Blowfish Studios. Both one Bullcut's about Mage Quit, where you play a wizard over 9 rounds, and each round you essentially get a new power, a new ability, and you're just fighting other wizards to keep them off the little platform and defeat them.
I did not finish last.
That's all he wanted.
That was my only goal. There were 10 people competing over 9 rounds, and I finished 9th, but I wasn't last. That was my only goal going into it, and I accomplished it. I was very proud of myself.
I believe it, man. 'Cause you tried hard too. You're like, I'm not gonna get last. I was watching them, like doing the interview, and I'm watching them.
I was so intense the whole time.
Blowfish had about 4 games that they came out with. I'd recommend checking them out. Obey Me was one of their biggest ones. We also talked to the game Garden Story, which is a little Zelda-esque kind of game.
It was so cute.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
Jenny was very nice to talk to us about that game. She's not part of the dev team, but she is their media team. So she was really nice.
Well, the one company I really wanted to talk about, and I know you were probably getting to it, but I'm gonna jump in right now.
Yeah, go for it.
Is Stack Up, which
Stack Up was amazing.
It's this company that they work with veterans and with active military, and even with civilians too that are in like first responder jobs or things like that, and they basically at least one of their big concepts is they ship gaming supplies overseas to people so that they can play the latest games on Xbox or PS5 or whatever out of the base. They have something to do. They also, I know they have a big like suicide prevention and awareness campaign that they're really heavily involved in here stateside, and that was a really cool concept. It was something that there's somebody else that I follow that has a big campaign every year where they send comics overseas to veterans.
Oh, yes, I'm saying that.
Yeah, and the gentleman's name is Jason Inman. He does that. He was a veteran, and a lot of the people in Stack Up were veterans as well. And that's kind of what inspired them to do this. And rather than just sending over like maybe generic care packages, it's like, oh, here's some socks. It's like they put together like video game packages. Like they'll send people, systems and games and
so much better than socks.
And it's just like it gives them something to do that feels like home.
Exactly.
I thought that was really cool. It's just a cool concept, a cool interview. They're a cool company. I definitely want to continue to partner with them moving forward.
And I hope so. And Steve, the CEO is Steven, and he served in the Marines for 8 years, he said. And his story and hearing about some of the stories he's heard himself and his battle buddies, I'm sure it's a touching story, and I really recommend checking them out. They have helped about 8,000 people, he said, hopefully, based upon the numbers they've gotten. And that's amazing. That's possibly 8,000 lives saved. If you don't know what these guys are thinking or doing. And I do like that they actually, as a civilian, I don't know. My best friend's a Marine. Yeah. So I don't know. I know when we talk sometimes and she starts going into some of her stories, or even some of my male friends, I don't know how to react to them. Like how to hey, I'm sorry you went through that. I wasn't there, so I can't put myself, bullets flying over your head or anything.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
So it's really nice that they actually do certification courses for civilians. They do a 60-hour course, he said, so you can learn how to talk to these guys and girls and help them. And that was amazing to me because
That's awesome.
Not just, I don't have to be a veteran to talk to a veteran to help them through it. I can be myself, take these certification courses that they help you do, and then I can be able to talk to these Marines who need somebody, or the Army, of course, Navy, Air Force. I really enjoyed that part. I mean, that was touching for me because as a civilian, I only know from what my friends tell me, the horror stories that they've told me.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my gosh, I can only imagine what you're feeling right now when they go back to that day. So, if you, again, like Robert said, check them out, guys. They're a great organization. They are looking for help, to make sure they can reach out to more veterans out there. We want to get that number down.
Volunteers.
What do you say, 22 veterans a day, I believe you said, or something like that? 20 veterans a day roughly commit suicide.
Yeah.
So we all want to lower that number. So sorry we kind of went a little depressing on that, but we do want to make sure we get that awareness out there.
Yeah,
too.
and it's huge. I mean, again, the name of the company is Stack Up.
Yes.
I think it's stackup.org, I believe, is their site. It might be stackup.com.
Double check real quick for you.
Either way,
Stackup.org.
Yeah. And so they're super cool. Like we said, they're really, their slogan, I think, was what veterans are our mission, gaming is our passion.
Yes.
And so it's totally, it obviously fits perfectly with what we talk about here, which is, like games or
comic movies.
Yeah, anything that's geeky fits in with what they're doing as well. And they have like that very specific mission to helping, people in crisis, basically.
Exactly.
And that's really cool.
And it is. It's amazing to see that, and amazing that it's, that it happens. That groups like this can happen and help our veterans. So yeah. I definitely recommend talking to them. What was the other group? So we talked to a lot of devs. Gloom, if you're a fan of the card game, it's a little board game. That they actually have a video game now. I didn't even know that.
Oh, nice.
That's based off the card game. And they were there actually showing off the game. I was like, oh my gosh. And I told the guy, I was like, I need to go buy this now. Yesbird Publisher was there as well. They are a publishing company. They publish a couple of video games. Tiny Build was there. Their biggest game is Hello Neighbor. And the newest expansion called Secret Neighbor. And they have a few other little games, but those are probably the biggest ones, as well as Terrible Delivery Service is the other big one that was funny because I only know that game because of another company I watch, kind of like Robert watches his podcast, and they played that game. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun.
So can you tell us about Secret Neighbor?
So Secret Neighbor is the newest expansion into Neighbor series. It's the third one that I believe he said, which our interview will be up later this week with them. But that one essentially is you play a child, and it's a 6-man team, and it is about kind of like working together to get out of this house, it sounds like. But the neighbor, who is the bad guy essentially, is hiding amongst these 6 people. So one of the 6 people is secretly the neighbor. So as you're running around trying to find keys, these 2 people might walk off and be like, oh, I'm going to go, let's look for the key over here. Well, then one of them could turn out to be the neighbor, kidnap the little kid or hide or, tie him up, whatever it is that they do to them. And then he goes back to normal. And then he goes and looks for the next few kids to hunt them all down, essentially. Until it's just one-on-one. It looks super fun. The neighbors, there was 3 neighbors, he said, and they each have their different powers.
Kind of creepy.
Well, the first game's creepy because, like, when you see Hello Neighbor and you get caught, you just see, like, fingers come across your eyes, and he pulls you away. So, I recommend watching the interview for the whole thing.
I'm just thinking of, like, the Hello Neighbor, it's like that quote, and, that's creepy.
Yeah, it's a fun little creepy game. Now, the other ones that were out there was the Houston Outlaws.
Yep.
They were out there. Brawlhalla was out there. There was a fun little Smash Brothers game. There was game competitions out there. A bunch of board game publishers were out there. So it was really fun, guys. Mixer was there. They actually had. Speaking of which, we actually had some streamers there from San Antonio and around the area.
Yeah.
Gaines was one of them. Queen was another one. Actually, our cameraman to Queen, she has about I think 5,000 or 6,000 followers. Gaines has about 3,500. So not tiny streamers. I mean, they're not big either, but it's fun. It's nice that you run into these people that you
big.
watch. Yeah.
Pretty big.
They're bigger than us on that realm. I mean, and it's fun to watch them though, because it's cool. You watch these people live, or on Mixer, and then you just meet them in real life. It's really nice. I know our cameraman was really happy to meet Queen. I was happy to meet Gaines finally. He introduced me to some other streamers, a bunch of the Tostadas, Gorilla, Mess, and a few others. So it's cool to see how tight-knit the streaming community is as well.
Yeah. So
I always recommend, if you haven't gone on Mixer before, check out Mixer. If you're not on Mixer, check out Twitch. Check out one of them though, and just see how the community is. It's really cool to meet these kind of people and interact with them, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Sean mentioned the Battlestar Galactica series is being produced though by the creator of Mr. Robot from the new NBC streaming service. You said?
Yes.
Ooh. What?
So,
I don't know anything about that.
That's actually
somebody go to NBC.
NBC.com now.
NBC.com.
NBC.
Yeah, no, there was. I think that basically it's in development, and I think the most recent thing that came out is that they confirmed it's not going to be like a remake of the movie or the series that came out in the early mid 2000s. It's just going to be a new story told in that universe. So yeah, I mean interesting. I mean, we don't really know much about it at this point. I think that news I think is a few months old. I don't know that there's been anything new. If there's something new that's dropped, then I guess I haven't seen it. But
I haven't seen anything on that, honestly.
I know that was announced a few months ago. That the guy that led Mr. Robot was doing a new Battlestar Galactica show. So that's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Thanks for telling me that, honestly, Sean, because I honestly didn't know any of that. Isn't that where Jason Momoa got to start too? Was Battlestar Galactica? I know Kevin Sorbo was on that one. Random notes I know. I don't know these things.
I've actually never seen.
Why would we know
Galactica,
that?
Right?
I don't know.
I want to say I thought he was on that. I know Kevin Sorbo was, so we had to Hercules.
I'm gonna have to see it at some point because I know it's very well beloved. I think it ran for a few seasons.
Quite a few seasons.
People think very highly of it, so I hope to see it at some point. But
I need to like sit there and check it out. So
maybe it's streaming somewhere.
Oh, we'll find it. We will. The other company we didn't mention,
We'll find you.
and I wanted to, because I'm wearing their hat, is Filthy Casual. They were out there, by the way. So if you ever want to check out some gamer kind of clothes, Filthy Casual is a cool little site. Some interesting clothes. I know I showed Kristen some of the stuff they have.
Show off your hat.
You can see my hat, hopefully.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah, you can see it on screen. So they have those. I bought a hat and I bought sunglasses while I was there.
I bought nothing. She bought earrings. You bought a hat, sunglasses. I bought nothing.
Yeah, it is all I bought too, I think.
You got sore feet from walking on concrete all day.
Because I'm cheap.
I wasn't gonna. I blame Troy Baker. That's who I blame.
Sure.
He's a voice actor. I blame him.
Well,
it's all his fault.
He was very persuasive.
He is. Well, he was on a podcast I was listening to, and he was talking about his jeans, and he was like, I got them from Filthy Casual, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what's Filthy Casual? Look him up. Oh, okay, cool. Walking around the con, hey, Filthy Casual's here.
Boom.
I want to buy a hat and some sunglasses. I need new sunglasses anyway.
There you go.
So I ended up spending money.
It's all right. The hat looks good. The sunglasses looks good too.
He says it looks good, guys. And last hat, he told me I shouldn't wear hats anymore. So
Did I say that?
you literally said you should wear a hat anymore.
What hat were you wearing?
I don't remember.
Well,
But you said you should not wear a hat anymore is what you told me.
maybe it was just a bad outfit day. I
Sounds
don't know.
so mean.
I don't know. Someone was a little worse to me the other day too.
Yeah, let's not make comments about who's mean and who's not mean.
I mean, I'm mean. I already know it, so it's okay.
All
But moving on from mean,
moving on
and
from
from
PAX,
all of it,
right?
yeah. Moving
So
on.
PAX was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you didn't get a chance to attend this year, definitely look forward to attending in years in the future. PAX was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm happy that we got to experience it. So the other thing is, what ended on the last show technically, because it happened while we were filming.
My career.
Your career.
Oh wait.
Wait, what?
That's
Whose
not
career?
I'm still here, so it's still going on.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. We already discussed this. Come on. You cannot leave. You are here forever.
Dang it.
So,
I thought I was gonna get out.
It's gonna take a lot more than that, sir.
I wrote the contracts, remember?
And she had you sign in blood.
Yeah.
The Crisis on Infinite Earths, though,
Yes.
did end.
The
and wrapped
five episode event
Mhm.
that I still have not seen any of. Sorry.
So I will
You
have to
saw
talk
it.
about it. Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
So
And
hold on.
yes,
So it was
Okay, do
five. It was 5 episodes, each one of a different show from
Yes.
the CW, right?
correct.
Including the Arrow finale, the series finale. Arrow
So-
no longer is the show with Stephen Amell no longer is. Is that correct?
Kind of. That was like the wrap up. There's still 2 more episodes. So there's one airing tonight and then one more.
Oh,
But I think
okay.
that's wrapping up just like Stephen Amell's or Oliver Queen is dead. It's just wrapping up what happened to him. Because that's what I thought too. I thought that was the last
Really?
episode, but they said
Huh.
there's still 2 more episodes.
Well, spoiler, as you
So-
just said, Oliver Queen is dead.
Oh, well, if you saw Crisis on Infinite Earths.
But you didn't say
so-
spoilers for Crisis.
So, spoiler alert. From this point forward, spoiler alert.
And also retroactively.
Retroactively, spoiler alert. So Oliver Queen is dead. His
Yeah.
contract's up, so he decided not to renew for any more Arrow seasons, and he's leaving the show.
Yeah.
So essentially, he left. The girl who plays Felicity had left already. So it's essentially done. I don't know what I think the last 2 episodes they said are going to be kind of like the origin stories for Birds of Prey. They're talking about redoing that series again.
Oh.
So
I'm
supposedly
not
this is. I'm semi interested, but to me, all the female characters are already doing other stuff, so it's like, who do you have left to do Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
And can you bring someone in for 2 episodes to make me fall in love with that character to want to watch a Birds of Prey show?
Maybe.
So, but a lot happened on the last 2 episodes. So if you don't remember, last year we had those first 3 episodes, which was the Arrow one, the Flash, and wasn't Arrow again? Supergirl. Yeah, Supergirl, Arrow, Flash. So those 3 aired. It kind of brought our heroes together to fight the Anti-Monitor. He essentially is destroying all the multiverse, and all the worlds are coming to an end, and that's essentially all it comes down to. They're trying to stop it. Oliver Queen dies in the first episode. We do get the cameos from all the DC Legends of Tomorrow. They come in. Brandon Roth reprises his role as Superman, the Kingdom Come Superman too. From his Earth, we get Supergirl, Superman. We get John Constantine. We get the White Canary. We get everybody's coming out trying to help stop the Anti-Monitor.
Yeah.
Even the big cameo for the first 3 was Lucifer. Came out from the TV show Lucifer himself.
Right.
And that he owed John a favor. So small rumors are out there that John Constantine might be in the last season of Lucifer. But because they make a couple comments referring to the show itself, but no one knows for sure. No one's seen Matt Ryan on set, or if they haven't commented on it. So that was our big one then. So to come this year, we get our last 2 episodes.
Fast forward.
Stephen Amell comes back as the Spectre, who is essentially kind of like a goddish kind of character. A little bit different than his comic counterpart, but he is still pretty much the same thing. He's this god character that's trying to help stop the Anti-Monitor. Brendan Roth Superman dies, and we're left with Lex Luthor, the White Canary, the Flash, Cho, and I'm missing like 1 or 2 people. I can't think. Oh, Batwoman, Supergirl, and Mickey, I think, is left still. 1 other person. And that's it. And that's all we have. We have 7 people left in the entire universe.
Sorry,
to
we
stop.
missed somebody.
Yeah, I missed 1, I know. So we have 7 people to stop the Anti-Monitor, but everything's destroyed. Stephen Amell comes. He helps them fight the Anti-Monitor. And essentially, they win the fight. You know, our heroes always win.
Sure.
Stephen Amell's character finally dies off. But instead, he recreates the multiverse. So all of our characters now live on one Earth. In the past, with Supergirl originally started off on NBC,
right? She
was never truly on the Flash and Arrow's world, and they always have to do these tie-ins. So she had to be like a portal had to open up and her to come over.
Okay.
Same thing with Black Lightning. He was essentially not part of the Arrowverse either. But now he lives on our Earth. So everybody's on one planet now.
Okay.
We kind of condensed everybody. It's like, hey, all of you live here now.
Okay.
But with that being said, this is DC and they have to have a multiverse. We had about 2 or 3 big surprises. And I think the biggest one, and one that you can relate to, would be The Flash. The Flash. So if you're watching this live...
Miller, appeared on the show. I definitely saw that. Grant Gustin plays the Flash in the CW show.
Yep.
Ezra Miller plays him in the movies. He was in a very brief scene in Batman v Superman, and then was in Justice League. And actually, I think the character of the Flash, I don't know if it was actually Ezra Miller, was in Suicide Squad in a very brief cameo as well, because he caught Captain Boomerang.
I think they hint that it's supposed to be him.
It's supposed to be the same character. I just don't know if it was actually Ezra Miller in the suit.
If it was like a stunt double or something.
Yeah, it just might have been a stunt double. But yeah, it was. I saw the screenshot and I heard a little bit about it. But tell me about how this happened.
Essentially, Oliver Queen and Barry are talking.
No, I don't mean in the show. I mean, how did they get Ezra Miller on the set?
I'm sorry.
How did it happen, Aaron?
Well, they put him in a car. After they flew him on a plane.
Yep.
They put him in a car.
Okay.
He has to get through security. They stopped him for a minute, too.
Okay, but before that, rewind.
Oh, okay.
How did they make the decision?
Oh, okay. So, apparently, after the show was aired, WB reached out to the producer, I can't remember his name.
Which show was it?
After the Crisis was recorded. After the whole series was the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths was recorded.
Right. Not aired yet.
Not aired yet, I'm sorry. Not aired yet. He caught me on that one. I had to backpedal. So they recorded everything, and WB reached out to the producers of the Flash show, and they asked them, can we somehow get him in here? Yeah. After it's been recorded, mind you. And they said, heck yeah, we can.
Right.
Maybe not those words, but...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Warner Brothers, controls all the movies and everything.
Yes.
They come to CW and they're like, we want to put our big giant movie star in your little TV show. And CW's like, yeah, we can do that.
We'll fit that in. We'll hold on. Let me see if I can squeeze you. Yeah, we can squeeze you in.
We can do it.
We got this.
I'm pretty sure.
So I was happy though that this was. I mean, maybe let me know what you think. This is probably the best move WB could do for their entire movie/TV show universe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the TV shows generally have been pretty well received, especially Arrow, and I know The Flash was really well received in its first couple of seasons. I think it's gotten some mixed reviews recently, but I think that the TV shows generally, the fans really like them.
Yes.
Whereas the movies, especially some of the more recent ones like Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad and Justice League, so the 3 movies that The Flash was previously in, had either mixed or bad reviews.
Yeah.
And
Martha reviews.
there are definitely some fans that enjoy them.
Yeah.
And, that more power to you. But I think that it definitely made sense to incorporate that Flash, bring him on, and I didn't actually see the scene, but I heard everybody that I know that saw it seemed to really like the scene. I think even Grant Gustin teaches the Ezra Miller Flash a couple things, like stuff that he wasn't really aware of.
Apparently, it seems that he knows nothing of the Speed Force.
Right.
Ezra, how do you say his name?
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
And he's a very young Flash. He hasn't experienced a lot, certainly in the movies.
So he doesn't know about the Speed Force, and if you don't know about the Speed Force from a comic books, it is what grants the Flash his powers. And he's able to tap into the Force to move at these lightning speeds, if not faster than the speed of light itself. So he sees Ezra Miller, and he's like, "Who are you?" It's kind of like this whole "Who are you? Who are you?" And then it clicks in our Barry from the CW's mind that, crap, this is another Barry Allen.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they have this little moment where it's like, "Hi, I'm Barry Allen," and they say the next 3 sentences simultaneously.
Nice.
And he's like, "Whoa!" And then the last line that it helps tie everything in is before Ezra Miller disappears, he says, "Victor isn't going to believe this." So I get hinting towards Cyborg.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was kind of happy to hear that he actually mentioned Victor's name. I'm because we haven't had Cyborg in the movies yet, right?
No, he was in Justice League.
Was he in Justice League?
We just don't remember it because it's a bad movie.
Yeah, that's about right.
Womp womp.
But he mentions it, and I thought that was a cool little throw. Like, okay, that officially ties it to the movie universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't know anything about his powers, so that's kind of cool to see.
Well, and I think that I heard, so you tell me if this is true, I heard that he kind of also names him, like, that Ezra Miller had never really heard the Flash.
Yeah.
Like, that's not his name. He's just, he's a fast guy.
Yeah.
And
he names him.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're the Flash," or what? I don't know exactly how it came about, but
because he's like, he says something I can't remember right, but he says the Flash. He's like, "What?" And that's when Barry's like, "Oh gosh, you don't know." And know what? And he's like, "I don't like when people don't tell me something." And he's like freaking out, and he's like, "Victor's not gonna believe this," and then he just disappears.
Nice.
So somehow he was in the Speed Force. They don't explain any of that.
Yeah.
That's his little cameo we get.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that was probably the biggest one from these 2 episodes.
And completely under wraps. Like, nobody knew about that, which is really cool that they were able to pull that off.
Especially nowadays.
And I remember, I'm not tied into this universe. I don't watch a lot of these shows, or any of these shows. But when I saw that headline that Ezra Miller had, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's really cool. I can't believe they pulled that off. Because at least in, DC, they've never really tied any of the TV shows and the movie stuff. But they went for broke. They really did it in this one.
They did. And I remember when the TV shows first came out, they wanted everything to be truly separated. Like, that's why Grant Gustin was not the Flash in the movies, they said. That's why they killed off the Suicide Squad in the TV shows, because
they didn't want to have confusion with the movies. Yeah.
And so it's nice that WB has realized, like, hey, maybe we should merge all of this together. Oh yeah, there's this multiverse. We can always say our guys are from this world and your guys are on this world. And essentially with the universe being reborn, we could get some of our dead villains back, which is what I'm always happy about, because I've always tell you, I hate that these kill these villains off so quickly.
Yeah.
So now they can all come back and do their thing.
Yeah.
The other big cameo, of course, after the season's ending, it shows a bunch of tie-ins to the entire multiverse, which is where we finally understand that everything is connected. Brendan Roth comes back as Superman Kingdom Come. and they showed him flying off in a very Christopher Reeve-ish Reeve style. I fell in love with that. I was so happy to
and of course,
see that.
when he was Superman in Superman Returns in like 2005, whatever year that was.
5, 6.
2006 maybe? Yeah, I think it was 2006. He was supposed to be a continuation of the Christopher Reeve Superman. So, now he's doing that again. Yep. And he's also the Kingdom Come Superman. So, yeah, that was cool.
I was so happy to see that. Because, I mean, if you look at the picture right now on our live feed on Facebook.com or YouTube or Mixer, you get that Christopher Reeves feel.
Yeah, for sure.
The other one
Still, in my mind, he is Superman. Christopher Reeve is Superman.
He will always be Superman, I think, in everybody's hearts. And, rest in peace. But, yeah, I loved him as Superman.
For sure.
The other one, I don't watch the show in particular. Brendan Fraser's their big star, though. But Doom Patrol was actually shown a little bit.
Yeah.
We had a quick scene of everybody dancing in front of the mansion. So if you watch Doom Patrol, if you could tell me what scene that was, I'm really curious. I have yet to sign up for the DC app. I don't know if you guys have signed up for it yet.
I have a friend who did. I have seen some things on that, but I have not watched that show.
Okay. So. See, he hasn't watched all of it yet. Not yet. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't found a show that makes me want to buy it yet.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
The other one they showed, of course, Raven.
Yeah.
So Teen Titans tie-in now.
Yeah.
So we know their Earth is also part of this.
Yeah.
I've seen that shot before that we have again on our live feed, where she's kind of just looking up. It looks like embracing the shadows behind her. I always love that picture.
It's cool.
So I think that was pretty much everybody.
Well, we also know that it tied in with the terrible Green Lantern movie.
I tried to get away from it.
The DC multiverse. They made the choice. They said, we will accept you, Green Lantern. I don't know why, but yes, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie technically also tied in.
Yes.
Throw up the image. You didn't throw up the image. Why aren't you
no,
throwing up the
because
image?
I didn't even want to put that in. I didn't even save it. I didn't even save it. No, I did not even save the image because I will not go with that movie, and even Deadpool retconned that by shooting Ryan Reynolds to the back of the head, so the movie never happened.
Yeah, but that's a Marvel property, so,
It's Deadpool. He can do whatever he wants, and he killed Ryan Reynolds.
Giant fart clouds came to destroy the Earth, okay?
And the sad thing is Fox copied that with the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my god. That we'll never talk about these
Wait, no, that one happened first. Rise of Silver Surfer was before Green Lantern.
Oh god, it was.
So Green Lantern copied and made it worse.
They did make it worse. Is the sad thing. They went from holy crud to oh my god, really?
Did they not learn?
No one learned.
No, they did not learn, Frank.
But I mean, I don't know about you, Kristen. Did you watch any of the DC stuff? I don't remember if you watched them or not.
I've seen about 4 seasons of The Flash.
And that's it.
Yeah, it's not that I didn't want to. I just time is a big factor in my life, and it just didn't work out.
So I was the only one that watched. You haven't watched it yet, Frank?
Oh,
Frank
well.
I usually wait till it gets to Netflix.
No, there you go.
I just binge it.
So yeah, I was the only one that watched
Peter
it.
says Green Lantern is going to be a spinoff.
Yes, there is going to be a Green Lantern HBO Max show that's coming. It's supposed to. They said it's going to have 2 Green Lanterns on it.
Yep.
And also Sinestro, I believe. So that's the villain that we got in that terrible Green Lantern movie.
Yeah, and
except he was kind of like a anti. He wasn't actually an antagonist in the movie.
No.
Like he was a friend until the very end, and then he put on a ring and was like, "I am yellow now," and it was terrible. It was like, oh, Mark Strong, who's a really good actor, you're not getting a sequel because this movie was terrible.
No, and the one good thing I'll give it stuck to the comics because Sinestro is a good guy who eventually turns evil.
Right, he's a lantern who eventually then turns evil.
Into a yellow lantern. And it's just one of those you had it all. I would have been happy with him as the villain, showing him fight other Green Lanterns until he turns yellow. But whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
there's so many problems with that movie. Let's not talk about it.
Set it on fire.
Well, you know what?
So
we'll do a special episode
just
on terrible comic book movies.
Oh, I'm down for that.
That would be a fun discussion. So we'll have to do that. There's a lot to talk about.
There is. There really is.
I've seen Supergirl. And ooh.
I remember the Captain America
movie.
Let's
not talk about that.
I also have seen that, and that's also terrible.
So, I just want to say, guys, if you haven't seen Crisis, you can technically watch. If you don't watch anything else,
it's now been completely spoiled for you.
Completely spoiled. But you can watch it. All 5 episodes are streaming on the CW app. You can technically go watch these, and you really don't need to watch any of the series to know what's going on. My biggest complaint, honestly, out of all of it, is how little we had DC Legends of Tomorrow in it, because we only really had Ben and Roth and the girl who plays the White Canary in the last 2 episodes. Even though they've already talked about John Constantine in there, and he was in the earlier episodes, you still have the Atom and a few others who, or Captain Atom, I guess his name is in the show, that essentially never, they never really showed them. It was like a quick glimpse, and they make fun of themselves, the DC Legends, and they even say, "Oh, is it time for the crossover event again? Did they wrangle you in again to this? Did they hijack you?" And it's just like the running gag for them is that they know it's a crossover event, and they always get dragged into it somehow. And I love how they do that, but again, it's sad that none of the other DC Legends were in it but them two, and I'm sure that's a budget reason. You know, these are more graphic intense characters sometimes, so I'm sure budget limited them to who they can bring in and who they can't.
Sure.
But I definitely recommend watching it, guys, and see what you think of it, and let us know how accurate was it for you for Crisis on Infinite Earths, the comic book. You know, they had to go their own route, obviously, for certain reasons, but I still enjoyed it. And I'm really happy that we are also supposed to get a Flash movie, another Flash movie that is another version of Flashpoint Paradox, which we have the animated movie already, we have the comic books, so it's going to be interesting where this is going to take it, and I'm hoping they're going to kind of comment on all the CW shows with the Flashpoint Paradox. You don't think so?
No.
They might.
I don't think that the movies will reference the shows. I think they can make a safe assumption that people that are watching the Flash TV shows have seen the movies that the Flash is in.
Okay.
But I don't think you could say that in reverse. And I'm a perfect example of that. I've seen all of those movies. I haven't watched a single one of these shows.
Well, that's true.
So it's similar to how Marvel has approached their previous shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Netflix shows. It's the shows might reference things going on in the movies, but the movies are not going to reference things going on in the shows. Now, of course, Marvel Studios' new direction tying into Disney Plus is supposedly going to change that. We haven't actually seen it in practice yet, so how much those tie in is still a little bit, we don't know for sure. I still think they'll kind of more be like, if you watch them, it might enhance your movie viewing experience, but I don't think you'll miss things if you go see the movie without watching the shows. And so, overall, I mean, I don't anticipate, even though if they do a Flashpoint Paradox, there might be some minor little Easter eggs that are for people that love the shows, but
reference that you saw this other Barry Allen who had a cloth suit, because that's one thing they do comment that he's like, "Oh, yours is so soft," and he's like, "Yours is so like well protected," and it's funny in that sense.
Which is literally code for TV budget versus movie budget.
It really was. It really, really was. So the other thing that came out, because I mean, like you said, not a whole lot came out this week. But some Star Wars news came out last week?
Yeah,
right?
So I would just say the big thing, this is probably what we'll end our show on, is that it was reported that Taika Waititi is in talks to direct an upcoming Star Wars movie. They didn't say what it might be about. They didn't give any details around it. It's not confirmed. But he is a director and actor. He directed Thor. Ragnarok, the most recent Thor movie.
The good one, gotcha.
The best one, for sure. He voices the character of Korg in that movie, the Rock Monster. He directed the season finale of The Mandalorian, as well as being the voice actor of IG-11. So yes, he directed the episode with the door thing. We don't need to talk about it anymore, Aaron. We've talked about it a lot in like 3 episodes. Oh my god.
Still with the door thing?
Still with the door thing, yes. Anyways,
and the platoon thing.
Anyways,
just take it like it is.
He's also directed some like cult comedies,
Really?
Hunt for the Wilder People, and What We Do in the Shadows. He also acts in that. He actually was just nominated. His movie was nominated for Best Picture for Jojo Rabbit. That came out this year.
I love that movie.
It was a very good movie. He acts in that movie as well. He actually plays Pretend Hitler, which sounds weird if you don't know anything about the movie.
Watch the movie, please.
It's a really good movie. It's set in World War II, and it's about a little German kid who kind of has an imaginary friend, Hitler, and he's kind of a crisis of conscience happens with him as he encounters, some Jewish people and starts to discover that maybe they're not the evil that they're portrayed to be. So it's a really, really heartwarming movie. It was a really good movie. Definitely, I think it deserved its Best Picture nomination. So Taika Waititi is a really talented filmmaker, or a talented actor as well. And so, I don't know, are you, based on the things that you've seen that he's done, which I know, get the door thing out of your head for like 5 seconds.
And the Platoon. I guess that's a writer.
Do you want to see a Star Wars movie that he directs? Are you in for that?
I wouldn't mind seeing it with him as a director. Okay. But I would like to see Jon Favreau as a producer, though. To kind of, because Jon Favreau worked on the series.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically the showrunner for The Mandalorian.
I think having him on as like an executive producer somehow, or at least somehow involved with the movie, even if it's just the writing, I think with them two put together, they could knock a movie right out of the park. And it's right up both their alleys, honestly. Like you said, I've seen some of those movies he's done, and I didn't realize they were his movies. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that idea. I think it could be good. I would just say wrap Jon Favreau in it, and you have me. I'm happy to go see that.
Sure.
What about you though? You think he can do it?
So I think he's perfectly capable of doing it. I think he's very talented. I think the one episode of The Mandalorian that he directed, he's kind of known for humor in his movies.
Oh yeah, he also had those two, the red versus blue essentially jokes.
So yeah, I mean, I think that the humor he put in that episode, I thought really worked. I think that there's always been humor in Star Wars, and I think that he understood and put in the right type of humor in that episode. I don't know that I want a comedy Star Wars movie though, and as much as and Thor Ragnarok had a lot of really good action, a lot of things, but it's definitely a comedy.
Yeah, it is.
So I think he could do it. I think certainly if they announced that he was going to have a Star Wars movie, I'd be excited because I think he's really good and I would go see it. And I would just be a little bit concerned that maybe it'd be too jokey. That doesn't mean it would be. I mean, we could go see it and maybe it just has a few, it has the right amount of Star Wars humor and it's perfect and it's great. But that would be my concern. It's just that he's known for he's known for comedies. Yeah. And the last time Star Wars hired comedy directors, it was Lord and Miller for directed. Okay. The stuff that he has directed, I've really enjoyed. And that includes the season finale of Mandalorian. So, yeah, I enjoy Taika Waititi's Star Wars stuff, so I'd be down for a Star Wars movie.
So pick a director. Pick a director for Star Wars that you would choose.
A director for Star Wars that I would choose.
That you would choose.
Easy.
Wouldn't necessarily choose him.
Not J.J. Abrams, who has already made 2. You know what? I would be really interested in seeing. I'm thinking of Sam Mendes. I would be really interested in seeing a Star Wars movie that Sam Mendes does.
What else has that person made?
He's made a couple of James Bond movies and a bunch of other stuff. Also, there was a report a while back of that Guillermo del Toro wanted to do a Jabba the Hutt underworld gangster movie.
I heard that too.
And I would have totally been on board for that.
I heard that.
That does not. It sounds like that was just something he said in an interview. Like, I would love to do that, but it doesn't sound like that's anything Lucasfilm has any desire to make.
I don't think they
but
do.
That would be really cool.
That would be interesting. I mean, it would be fun to see that. I don't know. That'd be.
They've always done stuff like that, right? He did Troll Hunter. He also did
Troll Hunter. He did
Hellboy.
The first two Hellboys, not the crappy one.
So yeah,
I like Hellboys.
Well, the first 2 are good, but the third one.
I did not see
don't know if I've seen the third one.
Third one. Who's in the third one? Do you know?
The one that just came out with David Harbour.
David Harbour, yeah. It's a
Did we see
reboot,
that?
isn't it?
No.
Didn't Mila Jovovich?
Yeah, no. But on the last note too, I know we hit the Star Wars hit $1 billion as well over
Rise of Skywalker. Let's not talk
Mm-hmm.
about that movie anymore.
The other thing though, I do want to mention before we go, I'm kind of done with it. Star Wars. Joker. Joaquin Phoenix won a SAG award though. Did you see that?
Yes. I mean, he's gonna win the Oscar.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you think he's gonna win it?
Yeah.
What about you? Do you think he's gonna win the Oscar?
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Even despite all the sham jam that happened, I think he'll win.
The look.
What is Sham Jam?
I was gonna say the same thing, but I was gonna call her out.
I don't know what that means.
Thank you. I was gonna do the same thing, but you beat me to it by like
quite
half a
fine.
second.
Move on.
But yeah, I mean,
Bananarama, what is that?
All the Sham Jam that went on.
all that
there.
Sham Jam out there, you know, you Sham Jam people.
all that rough jazz that was happening around that time.
Sure. I still don't know. I'll try and get an answer for you
The
off
theater
air.
70s called.
shootings,
The what?
the theater shootings, like people going
Oh,
into
but
theaters,
no, yeah.
shooting people, and then the interview that he went through where he like totally like
He
blew
had a
up on the
breakdown.
people.
Yeah.
He
He
didn't
had a
blow up on
breakdown.
anybody.
No, he
just walked off.
he had a
Or walked
breakdown.
off, yeah.
I don't know. Like I think
Despite that, yeah.
I think my comment from last season was this movie was made to get an Oscar, and that's all he wanted, and that's the only reason DC did the movie.
Yes, it
That's
wasn't
the
to
only-
make the $1 billion that they made. They didn't
They
care
didn't-
about the profit at all.
No, they didn't. They cared about him getting the Oscar, so they could be like, we can make an Oscar movie.
Aaron,
Shut up.
Literally no movie in the history of movies has been made to not make money.
Hold on. Silver Surfer.
Nope. They wanted to make money. I'm not saying they made it, but they wanted to.
That one can be in your
You know
list
what?
of movies too when y'all do.
No,
do
I
on
don't.
that later.
There's a lot of movies to get to. Rise of Silver Surfer is so far down the list of terrible
I don't
comic
know,
movies.
yeah.
It's a bad movie. Don't get me wrong.
No.
But we got to talk about Elektra. We got to talk about Catwoman. We got to talk about we got to talk about X-Men 3: The Last Stand. We got to talk about X-Men Origins Wolverine. I mean, there's so many bad movies to get to before you get to Rise of Silver Surfer.
Yeah, it's up there, but it's not.
Ghost
that high.
Rider, both of them.
I'm sorry.
I never saw those.
When you pee,
I'm
how does it
okay.
look like fire? Anyway, we're getting way off subjects, but on that note, guys,
That will be an episode.
that will be an
We will
episode.
talk about
We'll do that. Probably a couple episodes. How many movies are out there too? If you guys like that idea, though, comment below and let us know what you think of it. If you think it'd be something we should be doing.
Yeah.
And on that note, guys, we always say what makes you geek. So I would like to know what makes you geek. Did you enjoy the show? Did these movies make you geek? Did PAX make you geek? Did seeing the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover make you geek? Did hearing the news about the new director possibly for Star Wars? You know, what made you geek, guys, this week? Let us know in those comments below. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. And on that note, I'm Aaron. He's the astonishing Robert. And
Yes, I
that's
am.
Kristen over there on our other cam. And say bye to the folks.
Bye bye.
What shim sham made you geek?